Having collected my first gym badge from Pewter City, I departed to the east heading down Route 3. I soon encountered a man dressed in green. He told me he was a type of trainer known as a coach trainer, and that he would be much stronger than the other trainers on the route, so I decided to challenge him. To my surprise, he had a Bulbasaur, and it was quite powerful. Nancy and Delia tried their best to get the upper hand, but none of their attacks were doing enough damage, so eventually Lucy hit the field and took it down with some quick attacks. The man gave me a revive as a reward for winning, and I decided to head back to the Pokemon Center to get my team ready to go again. I also decided to add Butterful and Blue to the team so that they could get some experience while we traveled. I decided it was about time to bring Delia out of her Pokeball, and I quickly noticed how naturally curious she was. It was more like she was leading the way than I was. While we were walking through the grass, I happened upon quite the rare Pokemon, a Charmander. After a Raspberry and 2 Pokeballs, it was mine, and I named him Aaron. I also came across a Rattata and Sandshrew, who I named Champ and Eric respectively, before arriving at the entrance to Mount Moon. Outside of it, there was another coach trainer, but I decided to hold off on battling him until I visited the Pokemon Center. Inside, I said hello to a Jigglypuff, which sang me its lovely song. It made me feel a little drowsy, but I managed to stay awake. There was a man in the center who said he would sell me a secret Pokemon called Magikarp, and while I wasn't so sure about the secret part, I figured the poor thing was probably better off with me than him, so I accepted and named it Triton. Now that my Pokemon were all healed up, I went back to the coach trainer and challenged them to a battle. His only Pokemon was a Meowth, and after lowering its defense, Lucy was able to knock it out with a double kick. My reward for winning was TM57, Payday. With the coach trainer defeated, my only place left to go was directly into Mount Moon. As I was about to enter it, I noticed a Meowth was sleeping above the entrance. I would have loved to catch it, but I figured I should let it take its nap. Stepping inside, I saw 2 people with red R's on their shirt. It turns out that Meowth belongs to them, and they said something about fossils before running deeper into the cave. After catching a Geodude, I decided to take on bug catcher Kent, whose Butterfree was quickly defeated by Lucy. The best part about this win is that it gave my team enough experience for both Butterful and Blue to evolve into Metapod and Kakuna. After a battle with a man who had a Grimer, Lucy was looking tired, so we took a short break to hang out and regain our strength. Once she was ready to go again, I came across a wild Paris and Zubat. Zubat was especially difficult to catch since it flew all over the place, but not so difficult that I couldn't do it. Heading deeper into the cave, I came across another man with a red R in his shirt. He claimed to be a part of Team Rocket, a group of Pokemon bandits. It seemed dangerous to let a Pokemon thief run around Mount Moon with no consequence, so I challenged him to a battle and Nathan took down his Rattata. It was a good thing too, as I found a rare Pokemon called Clefairy mere steps away. I also found a nugget, which didn't seem particularly useful, so I figured I would try to sell it next time I was at the Pokemart. Before long, I encountered yet another member of Team Rocket who said they were in the middle of a big job. Unfortunately for him, Delia sent him in his drowsy packing. Turning the corner, I finally caught up to the first Team Rocket members I ran into as they commanded their Meowth to go look for fossils. I tried to get their attention, but they were completely oblivious, so I pushed on further. Soon, I ran into another female Team Rocket grunt, and despite how admittedly cute she was, I had to let Lucy take her Zubat down. No matter how cute, a thief is still a thief. To my surprise, I found a man standing near her with 2 fossils. I wanted to ask him where he got them, but he immediately challenged me to a battle. His Voltorb was no problem after Nathan put it to sleep, and his Magnemite was no match for Lucy's double kick, so the battle was easily won. After he lost, he offered to let me keep one of the fossils, which is an offer I gladly accepted. The one that called to me was the Helix fossil, so I chose that one. After saying goodbye to the man, I was stopped by none other than the 2 Team Rocket grunts I keep seeing. They threatened to take my newly obtained fossil, which was not going to happen, so I took on Team Rocket's Jesse and James. They both used poison types, Coughing and Ekans. They were honestly pretty powerful, but still no match for Lucy's Thundershocks. Upon their loss, they ran off. I tried to give chase, but they were way too fast, and before I knew it, I had reached the end of Mount Moon. Traveling down Route 4, I encountered a Pokemon called Mankey and soon reached Cerulean City. It's a downright beautiful place, but the only part I could focus on at that moment was the Pokemon Center. Walking up to it, Lucy took note of the fountain in the middle of the city. It seemed like she wanted me to toss some money in and make a wish, so I decided I would do it to make her happy. Inside the center, it felt as though everyone was ranting and raving about someone named Bill, but what I was more interested in was a man who said he would teach Lucy a brand new move called Zippy Zap. It sounded pretty powerful, so I accepted his offer and taught it to Lucy in place of Thundershock. There was also a young lady who asked if I'd be willing to trade a Rattata for a Rattata, which was an odd request, but I figured I would go out and catch one so I could make the trade without having to part with Champ. As it turns out, her Rattata is from the Alola region, making it look completely different as well as have an entirely different type. I'm super happy with this trade, and I doubt I'd be able to get an Alolan Rattata in any other circumstance. Satisfied, I ran to the Pokemart and sold both the Nugget and Pearl that I'd found in Mount Moon, which netted me lots of money. I also visited the home of a bike collector. He talked so fast I could hardly understand what he was saying, but I did enjoy taking a look at the Mach and Acro bikes, which you can only get from an entirely different region. After exploring the rest of the city, I began to head to the north, only to run into Xavier. He was really freaked out by something he saw, but he was so flustered he couldn't explain, so I decided to calm him down with a Pokemon battle. Zippy Zap proved to be a fantastic new addition to Lucy's arsenal against his Pidgey, knocking it out in one hit. Nancy also got to prove her strength by taking out his Oddish, and I left his Eevee up to Delia. It got a couple of hits in, but Delia was far too strong. After the battle, he calmed down immensely, while I got quite excited because the battle gave Butterful and Blue enough experience to evolve again, turning into Butterfree and Beedrill. Xavier finally explained that he had gone to visit the Pokemon fanatic known as Bill, only to find that he was nowhere to be found and that a talking Pokemon was there instead. As you can imagine, this was pretty hard to believe, but I figured I would head that way to check it out. To get to Route 24, I first had to cross the Nugget Bridge. According to Bug Catcher Kale, if I defeated all 5 trainers on the bridge, I'd get a fabulous prize. Seeing as I was already planning on crossing, this was a challenge I happily accepted. Unfortunately, none of the trainers were too much of a challenge, as Nancy, Lucy, and Nathan tore through the battles one after another. When I reached the end, I was given a nugget for my victory, which is a fitting reward if I do say so myself. To my absolute shock, however, the man who gave me the prize started trying to convince me to join Team Rocket. I adamantly refused, but he continued to beg me to join, so a battle was the only way to let my answer be truly known. Delia had no trouble with his Zubat or his coughing, sending him running. Leaving the bridge, I found a trainer with a Charmander. More surprising than a trainer having a rare Pokemon like that, he actually asked me if I would be willing to take the Pokemon from him, since he felt as though it wasn't getting stronger in his care and felt responsible for that. However, he said that I should catch at least 50 Pokemon first, just to be sure I'm a trainer that could do better than him. Despite already having a Charmander, I decided I would come back at another time and see if his offer was still on the table. Traveling down Route 24, I came across many trainers as well as a Venonat which I captured. All the way at the end of the path, I came across a house with a green roof and door. When I went inside, I was surprised to see that Xavier was right all along. There was a Nidorino that stood on its hind legs and spoke. It claimed that it was actually Bill, and that I could return him to normal if I activated his cell separation system. Lights flashed, sparks flew, but in the end, Bill emerged alongside a normal Nidorino. He talked about the Pokemon box for a little bit, after all he is the one who made it, and then he thanked me for helping him by giving me 2 SS tickets, which would let a friend and me board the SS and in Vermilion City. Thankful for the opportunity he gave me, I stepped back out onto Route 24 and took on Coach Trainer Amala, who was standing nearby. She had a Machop, and its seismic tosses did massive damage to Lucy, but in the end she was able to knock it out, and we were rewarded with the TM for the very move that caused us so much trouble, Seismic Toss. With that, we were done with Route 24 for now and took a new path back to Cerulean. Along the way, Delia found a raspberry in a bush, and after a quick heal at the Pokemon Center, we were ready to take on the Cerulean Gym. On each side were some swimmers who would dive into the water next to me and challenge me to a battle with their water-type Pokemon. Seeing as both Nathan's grass-type moves and Lucy's electric-type moves are super effective on water types, none of them stood much of a chance, and I quickly made it to the gym leader, an orange-haired girl named Misty. She asked me what my approach to Pokemon battling was, but before I could think of a valid answer, she said that hers was an all-out offensive with water types. After declaring herself the world-famous beauty Misty, the battle began. I led the fight with Nathan, and used Growth while her Psyduck's Confusion did big damage. Not too much damage, however, as Nathan barely hung in there long enough to land and absorb, which knocked it out in a single hit, restoring most of his own HP in the process. Her second and final Pokemon was a Starmie, a Water and Psychic type. Its swift attack hit Nathan hard, and he failed to do much damage back to the powerful thing, so I sent Lucy out to battle in his place. While she switched in, she was hit with a Scald, which did good damage, but Lucy stayed strong, and with one powerful Zippy Zap, the Starmie was defeated, winning us the battle. For our victory, we were given the Cascade Badge as well as the TM for Scald. It felt as though we got lots of gifts and rewards in a really short time period, but with a team this awesome, it's hard to be surprised.